I don't know where I am specifically, but I'm just still seeing a dolphin very much the same as a dolphin here on Earth. However, I'm just sort of seeing, though, a bit more of a protruding head, like, I don't know, it's just a bit bigger. But it's like I'm being met by a one.
Okay.
So whether this is just a representation of the consciousness.
Good. Okay. And does it have a message it wants to communicate with you? Would it like to communicate with you?
She just sort of got a very heartfelt welcome, but also it's almost like a sense of gratitude for considering talking with them. Yeah, I don't know how to put that.
Okay, good. And what other impressions do you get from it?
It's almost like I'm speaking to a really old man with a beard. That's, you know, just very wise. They're still in water though.
So you can see it in water?
Yeah.
Okay, what does the water look like?
Oh, it's actually quite clear. Quite clear water.
And where are you? Are you in the water with it?
Yeah, I feel that I am, but I'm not. I'm just breathing normal. It's not like it's... I don't know how to describe it. I'm there energetically, I'm not there.
Okay, so you're just observing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and is this dolphin on its own?
Yeah, it is. Like I said, I feel it's actually a representation of the energy of the consciousness.
Okay, good. All right. And as you're looking into this dolphin, do you feel like it wants to communicate with you?
Yeah, and it's like I'm getting sent colours. So I'm actually picking up on a very pink colour, a very pink aura, or pink energy, which is being emanated towards me. When I think of pink, I just think unconditional love energy.
Okay, what kind of feeling does that colour give you as you tune into it?
Yeah, it definitely hits in this area. Not necessarily the heart, but up here.
And how would you describe that feeling?
I actually feel like it's connecting with me through energy, somewhere through here.
Okay. So do you think it's trying to establish a better connection with you?
Yeah, but I also feel like I'm connected to that energy on some level.
Okay.
So it's almost like I don't know, coming home, connecting to a certain energy.
Do you feel that connection growing stronger? Or would you like it to grow stronger?
Well, it's a good feeling, and like I said, it's almost like it's a coming home feeling. And I don't feel like it's wrong. It's a good feeling.
Okay. So would you like to open that connection more now? Connect to it more fully?
Yeah, I think so, to see if there's any information there.
Okay, so you can allow yourself to do that now. You just focus on that connection growing stronger and opening more fully. Feeling that connection from its source at the dolphin all the way through that area that you're feeling it. Just see it and feel it opening wider now and allowing whatever needs to come through. Can you do that?
I'm actually being given information that although there is in essence like a soul group for the dolphin consciousness, it's like I'm getting the impression that they've actually seeded many different planets, which also includes Earth. So I just feel it's the new way that they found to express themselves, and that they have actually seeded other planets other than Earth with they're saying with their evolutionary it's like the energy. So I'm getting the impression that a dolphin that we see in the ocean here, there's a lot of similarities to the dolphin energy species that are on other planets.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I know that, you know, a lot of these planets aren't necessarily physical like we do, but they still have a representation of Earth. I mean, life
Mm-hmm.
and how that's expressed. But I'm getting that image that the dolphin is an evolutionary. It's like, it's almost like in essence they're who we are, and they're sort of something that we need to strive for. Energetically, and with their capacity for telepathy and how they communicate to each other, but their joyful expression of life.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So does this dolphin that you can perceive now, does it have a name that it identifies with? Some way of identifying it?
It sounds stupid. I just got the name Marvin, but that doesn't, you know.
Okay.
I also feel that it's a representation,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not like it has a name,
Mm-hmm.
but if it has to have a name, that's
okay. Maybe as a
popped
point
in.
of contact
Yeah.
if we choose to do this again. So if Marvin's the first thing that comes to you, we can trust that. We can call on that again if we need to. Marvin. So as you're looking at Marvin, does Marvin have a message you'd like to convey?
No, it just sort of what I got was that he's thanking and honouring me
Mm-hmm.
for connecting back.
Okay.
And I just sort of like got a bit of a just a thought that, you know, perhaps the next time that I'm around dolphins,
Mm-hmm.
actually in the physical, that I could call on that energy to see if I can do communication with them. Like,
Okay. And so how would you best do that?
oh, I don't know, I guess if I was just in the presence of dolphins, I would make the conscious choice to call on that and use that.
Okay. All right. So ask Marvin if is it okay if we ask some questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So what can Marvin tell us about the home world or the origin of the dolphin consciousness?
It's actually telling me that I was correct in the assumption that Mintaka is actually a home world of origination. And then saying that they, as part of their evolution, had seeded and put themselves in other areas. One for the saying it's about growth. It's like they did this. They started to seed other worlds before it was uninhabitable, and they're sort of saying whether this was something that they actually foresaw or not, or created because of that. Whether that created the planet to be uninhabitable, but they're saying it was part of their evolution, but it was also part of their way of expressing the beauty of who they are at that soul level and trying to integrate that into different planets or societies or cultures or races. And saying, now think about when you see dolphins and how many people, what are their reactions when they see dolphins on this planet? And it quite often it is filled with love and joy. And a lot of people love and have connection with them. And they're saying that's what it's about. It's about making that connection for people to connect with that positive and happy and that joy. And that quite often one would if one could associate and act like the dolphin, about having fun in the moment and just enjoying life, and all that. So, and then saying then that this expression also happens on other planets. However, it varies from planet to planet depending on the physical expression that's available.
Okay. So what kind of form does the dolphin consciousness take on the homeworld? Is it a physical form, a non-physical form, or how does that work?
They had a physical form. And they're saying that it was definitely, we were water-based, obviously.
Okay, so is it physical in the same sense as it is on Earth?
No, well, it's still physical, but it's different dimensional levels. So obviously, physicality here is a lot different to the physical form on that planet.
Okay.
But it still has a physical form. And I'm also being told or getting the impression that the way I am seeing the dolphin now, in my mind, this representation is pretty much almost what they looked like on their home world.
Okay. So what if they're both physical on Earth and the home world? What would be the difference physically? Is there any way of describing the difference between them?
The difference between is that physically here, we're a lot more solid.
Okay.
But physicality for them is still physicality, but it's not a solid thing like here on Earth. I'm actually getting scientific things, but I don't understand any of that, and they're just sort of saying they're saying it's very difficult for my human mind to comprehend because it's outside of our consciousness and understanding of dimensions and all that type of thing. Okay. So I'm just,
So would they have a simple analogy that they could use to describe it?
I'm getting a no.
Okay. Still too complicated.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. So what kind of activities on the homeworld do the dolphins do? What do they interact the same as they do here on Earth, or are they different?
I'm getting, what they're saying to me is that they still enjoyed time, but they seem to have a lot more structured existence, and structured by means of they're sort of saying that they seem to believe they had a much higher role to play, and that whereas and they're saying it was very old ways of thinking, but it's different in that I was just trying to getting information, but I'm just trying to put it into,
just do the best you can,
into words that we understand. Yeah, so what I'm being told, but I'm also getting impressions of this sort of stuff, is that they're coming from a level of consciousness when they did on their planet similar to that of a human, as in we want to survive, we need to spread, we need to get our message out, we need to evolve and move. So whereas now they obviously they can't habit their home world anymore, so they have to live their existence through the different expressions of themselves which are available on the different planets.
Yeah.
And it's more about just being now rather than trying to accomplish. So that's probably the best way I can put it across.
Okay.
It was once very, actually they just gave me a flip, image of Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
So they're sort of saying, and they're using the word ego.
Okay.
So they're sort of saying it's, things got out of hand, and because they were trying to control and spread and evolve, and it was controlled actions, or it had a ulterior motive behind it, whereas now through the thousands of years and the spreading, they've realised, and because they're homeworld, they can't live there anymore. It's not about that. It's about just existing. So yeah, if that makes sense.
So what happened on the homeworld? Was something happen, or?
I just got the impression that it's the water. The water's toxic.
Okay.
And I sort of went to ask how, and I was shown a crack in the crust, like so something's leaked out from within the planet.
Yeah.
And they're not saying it was caused by anything. It just happened.
Okay. And so when that happened, what did the dolphins do?
It said here that obviously a few died from it until they worked out what was going on, and they just moved as much as they could away from it. But eventually they're actually saying to me that some were actually able to ascend themselves, ascend out of their physical form, whereas others just obviously died and then had to incarnate at other planets.
Okay. So how the ones that managed to ascend themselves, how did they achieve that?
So I'm getting the impression that their society was made up of certain sects of or delegations or roles. So they're sort of saying that there was actually a specific group which studied evolution and ascension.
Okay.
And they sort of said it was all sort of broken up into lots of different things. And they're saying to me that there was only a few, there wasn't a lot, there was only a couple that were able, and they belonged to this group that studied this sort of stuff. So, and they're just saying there was only a few of them that were actually able to achieve that. And they're saying to me that, because I was obviously asking them, but how? And they're just saying it's about energy, vibration, and belief.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying there's lots of mechanics to it. They said, but there's, for me, it's almost like I'm being transported through all this bloody, I don't know, like a matrix sort of type of thing. And it's like they're trying to show me the interconnection and of everybody's energy systems and the matrix of everything. And it was just, and actually they're showing me now, and it's just like these people just like integrated into it.
Yeah.
If that makes, they just integrated and became one.
And seeing that, how does that make you feel? How does that strike you? Is that
I don't know. I don't really have any thoughts about it, to be honest, because I guess it's, ascension's possible, and we've seen that happen before with ascended masters, and to me that makes perfect sense, because ascension is, I guess, essentially the understanding that you are one and that you can create and manifest anything, and it's to become one with that, I don't know, energy matrix which connects everything everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. So how do the dolphins actually study this? I mean, if dolphins living in the ocean, do they have books? Or how do they store information or learn information?
Sorry, I'm laughing because it's like, duh, we're telepathic.
What does Marvin have to say?
Yeah, it's like, that's what I got. It's like, duh, we're telepathic.
Is Marvin being sarcastic to me?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
in a sense, yes.
Thanks, Marvin.
It's good. At least I got
I'll
a sense
remember
of humour.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's saying we're telepathic, but it's saying it's also remember that, very similar in physical and anatomically with dolphins that are here on the planet. So they're structured, their whole brain structure. They use so much more of their brain capacity, and is saying that the thing is, the more that you connect with the brain and the universe and the usage of the brain, it just opens up and it's a whole matrix. You don't need screens or books or anything like that. It's tapping into a consciousness of information.
Okay.
And it's just saying that's, it's about brains, well, not so much brain size, but it's the utilizing of a person's brain.
Right.
And the more you would use your brain, the more you're open and connected to everything around you. So therefore the information is available to you. He's saying, but not, obviously there were groups of the dolphins that would study and were working towards that a lot more than others. But this is just in alignment with everybody else's self-expression. They were created for something specific and they follow those paths that they're drawn to. So it wasn't the path for every single dolphin soul to integrate itself back in. They still have free choice or free will and can choose to do that or not to do that.
Okay. So how would we as humans then utilise more of our brains like you're suggesting the dolphins do on the homeworld?
It's actually saying to me that a lot of things which inhibit us is belief. And he says also that many of you humans are on your spiritual evolution path. However, I'm being told that perhaps not more, but to be open to the scientific side of humanity and how things work, because it's all about belief and having that understanding. So I guess what the information I'm sort of getting and my interpretation of that is that spirituality is more than just spirit. It's about, and because humans have to have the logic and everything, and they have to know the ins and outs of everything, that the science side of it is a good way to open up and explain to humans. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's not a science, but it is, and that perhaps some spiritual people need to look into the science of it and the connections of it to better understand who they are and how they connect with all of that. I don't even know if that makes sense. It makes sense to me, but because I'm getting a lot of information that's just being dumped and I'm having to put words to it. So but I understand what they're saying if I don't have to speak it.
So they're saying that there would be a better scientific explanation to utilising the brain as opposed to a spiritual one?
Yeah, well, they're saying they're the same thing. It's just that because of humans and their need for tested results and logic and that he said it doesn't matter how spiritual a person is, because they can be open and things like that, but it's that ego mind mental thing that it's got to be proven for it to be open, for them to open up to that. Yeah. So
Yeah, because people want to see it to believe it.
Yeah,
Or believe it more
that's
to
right.
a higher degree.
Yeah, and they want to be able to sit there and have people say, look, we've proved that this happens and this is what can happen. But they're also saying, too, that even though they're just sort of saying that individually some people may be able to cope and handle opening up, but they're also saying it's to open up on that level by using the brain capacity and that they're saying it's almost like it's still out of human possibility or evolution for at least like nearly 100 to 200 years out of our path. It's almost like humans still need to evolve for a considerable amount of time before they will actually be able to capable of handling that sort of stuff. They're saying to me that there will be the odd couple that will be able to do it, but they're sort of saying, you know, this is, I'm actually, wow, okay. So it's almost, he said, we've been on the cusp of many, many years, but it's like we are now at the dawn and the awakening of that next evolutionary path for humans. And, you know, and until it's going to take quite a considerable amount of time, as in generations, for that evolution, providing we're still following the path that we're following now, before we get that mental, it's not because we've got the mental capacity, but the ability to connect to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the dolphins, what you're saying is the dolphins access all of that information, you know, whether it's about ascension or whatever it is that each person or individual, you know, wanted to specialize in, they access that telepathically. That comes to them telepathically. And that's what we humans are heading towards. Is that what they're saying?
Well, yeah, it's telepathic, but it's not just telepathic. It's like they've got a part of their brain that's open to tap into all of that knowledge.
Okay.
But we don't, I mean, we've got the capacity there, but we haven't evolved to that point where we can make that connection.
Okay.
Because, you know, they're sort of saying that he goes, so I'm being reminded here that, you know, their brain is so evolved that they use sonar. And humans are way nowhere near that.
Yeah.
So, you know, and he's also, it's not that he's annoyed, but he's also a little bit sort of coming across in the way of what's the word? It is the human, I guess the way the message is trying to get across, but he's not being rude or anything about it. It's just that, you know, he's sort of saying the human, he's not saying the human body is capable and very, very superior, but he's just sort of saying that it's just, you know, who we are as a consciousness at this point in time is there's still a lot of ego and superiority, which is our downfall. And, you know, it's sort of saying that sort of stuff is just, you know, that too will be the block because we're still seeing ourselves as separate and individuals, whereas, you know, it's about changing mindset and all that. But he's saying this is the thing, it's an awakening. Like humans are just moving into that area where there's more and more people which are awakening. However, you need to think about how that will happen generation-wise and, you know, and what's to come. So, you know, he's sort of saying, you know, yeah, definitely humans can still do telepathic stuff at this point in time because that's what they're consciously working at. But he's also saying that, you know, sometimes you need to think about that some people have the genetics for it, that it's a predisposition because of what's happened previously with certain individuals or ancestors. So, but sort of saying, but a point of where all humans are telepathic is still a long way down the track.
Okay.
And it's simply because, you know, of as a whole and a consciousness, not. If you look at it as an energetically thing, he's sort of saying, unfortunately, it's, there's probably a lot more negative, closed-minded ego stuff at this point.
Yeah.
However, people are awakening to that.
Okay. So do you have any suggestions that people, for people that are closed-minded, how to become more open-minded or to see more of the connectedness in the world and things like that?
He's sort of shaking his head at me. So,
to hear it from the Dolphin's perspective on things.
Yeah, well, it almost, to me, sounds a little bit, it's not ego-based or anything, but he's just sort of saying, the thing is, somebody that's closed-minded is not going to be asking for it to be open.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing of it. But he's saying, however, it's about belief, but it's also about daily practice.
Mm-hmm.
He's showing me something and I've got no idea what it is. Sorry, I can't even explain it to you. It doesn't even exist. But I'm being shown some type of machine that we would connect up to that does stuff with our EMF and brain waves. I don't know. And he's saying this will be something of the future that will help us tap into that. So it's almost like it's an artificial thing that's going to occur.
Okay.
And that'll be created. So you'd lie down and you sit into it and it'll, I don't know, it's almost like it's going to, I don't know, you tap in and into that.
So what would be the, the underlying operation of the device? I mean, on what length does it, or what wavelength does it work, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's I got no idea. It's saying it's just going to, it's almost, okay. So I've just been told, like, given the impression, I get words, but impressions, but it's like, it's almost like you're not going to be plugged into anything, so don't get any ideas that, they're going to have a hole in the back of your head and you get plugged into your brain.
Okay, so it's not like the Matrix movie.
No, it's nothing like that. But it's saying that it's going to be moving into different, it'll put you instantly into, it's almost like, I'm being shown, it's like you'll put your head down, but it's almost like it'll start up and it's like your head will be put into the bubble of the universe and you're just totally connected and you'll be just like to have that total different perspective of everything. Yeah, and it's saying it's just going to be a brainwave. It'll be a wave thing, like it'll be an EMF sort of field type thing that when you go in there, it will instantly alter but put you into that state. So the word theta state was also brought in. So it's about a deep subconscious.
So it's just basically like another technology, like what we're doing now. It's just another way of accessing that infinite, that that universal consciousness. Yeah,
they were saying obviously it's an artificial one. But it will be. They're saying it will be invented. And it will be a big opener for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm not really getting time frame. They've sort of said 50 years, but give or take that because look, we're the only ones at time. So
yeah, okay, cool. So back on the dolphin homeworld, how do they derive sustenance? Like, do they eat or do they drink, or you know what I mean? What do they do there?
It says that they eat, but I don't. Well, what do you eat? This is energy. Okay, do what do you do, Photo? How do you do that? He's saying it varies. It varies from planet to planet because obviously they don't live in their home world anymore. But they're saying to me that it varies. So from planet to planet. So depending on the dimension and the reality of it would depend. But they're saying that Earth is the only place that dolphins eat full-on food like they do.
Okay.
But it doesn't you know, it doesn't happen like that on other planets. And he's saying too, because it's the energy and the resonance of those planets, even though they exist in different dimensions, because they still have a physical appearance or existence. However, the physical is at that dimensional level. So it's going to vary, because the dimensional level of Earth is 3D and you're solid, whereas the physical existence of another planet may be 7th or 8th dimensional, which means that even though their physical body isn't solid, but it runs on energy. Mm-hmm. So I don't, that's the only way I can explain it and what they're sort of telling me.
Yeah.
And
okay. So what do they do for fun on the Dolphin homeworld?
I'm getting play. They'd play.
Mm-hmm.
And they just said very much like they would here.
Okay. And how did they go about seeding the other planets? Like, you know, when the homeworld was destroyed, how did they go about, you know?
Well, they'd already seeded other planets before it was destroyed.
Okay.
So it had been a plan and something that had been in place. Now, I just got, because they're showing me, and they're saying that it's like they actually chose certain types of physical existences, and it varies, but they're also saying that I'm being shown one planet. I don't have a name or anything like that, but I'm actually being shown that they, in essence, changed the physical or evolved that physical. So whatever the being was that they started to incarnate, and they're saying that it's similar to here on Earth, that they did the same, urged for evolution of an animal to become what it is today. So they're saying they were able to tap in and see that information and know which species where they needed to seed. It's like they're tapping in and they can see the future and the past,
okay.
and you know, all that sort of stuff. So that's what they were able to do, and still can. Some of them is like just tapping into that all that is knowledge,
okay.
and they can see the future. So then they can come back and go, all right, well, this is where we need to go, and this is what we need to do.
Okay. So is kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy then?
I'm actually getting a yes and a no. So I don't know how that works. They're sort of saying yes, in a way it is, but they're not, they didn't, when they've perceived the information that they've perceived, they've only seen it from the aspect of the natural evolution of the species that they were going to incarnate. It wasn't a result of them incarnating into that species. So that's why they say it's a yes and a no, because they haven't gone in and seen that they need to incarnate as that.
Okay.
They've just looked at the evolution of the species and deemed that a suitable species for them to use.
So if the intention that the dolphins went in, you know, when they were seeking to understand what was happening in the future, the intention would have been to perceive the natural evolution.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Okay. And then how did they actually go about going to these other planets? Like, what was the means of transportation, or, you know?
All right, so they're saying this is the same for all souls. Once the physical existence has been suspended, or just saying death as we would know it, you go back to that space of between lives, and then the same thing happens. Choice is made, and then it's an incarnation. So they're saying that's how it happens. They're saying it's the same.
Okay. But if okay, so let's just say that on the, when you were perceiving the future on the dolphin world, as to the natural evolution for the dolphins, and you would have perceived that you would be seeding, say, the earth with dolphins, how would you then come to the earth, at a point where there were no dolphins, and then embody a dolphin?
Well, they couldn't embody a dolphin until there was a species
you know what I mean?
here. Yeah, I do. And they're saying that it's, the choice is there. It's like, and they're relating it to the human experience. So this is how they're relating it. They're saying you need to relate it to exactly the same as the human experience, is that the soul chooses the lifetime that it would incarnate. So they do the same thing. They're on that side where they make the choice that, yes, this is now where we're going to start incarnating or experiencing life.
Okay.
And then they make that choice and then obviously born into it.
Okay. So does that mean that dolphins have always existed on Earth? Or does that mean that, is there a point in time where there were no dolphins and then suddenly there were dolphins on Earth, and then after that is when the dolphin consciousness chose to incarnate?
Yeah, dolphins were once land animals on Earth and evolved into what they are now.
Okay.
And they were able to perceive that. However, I'm actually sort of getting a bit of a, I'm actually getting a hint that they may have done a little bit of handiwork
right.
with the dolphins here on the planet. Only because they're saying to me that it's because they were a land animal and they slowly evolved into a water animal or mammal. And they said, and the thing that happens here is that the likeness of the dolphin on Earth to the likeness of their original form is very similar. And they're sort of hinting that they may have had a little bit of a hand in that. But
in making a few tweaks?
Yeah, making a few tweaks.
So how would they go about that then? Like, how would they go about retweaking the physical dolphin on Earth?
They're saying it's about the same group that were able to get into that matrix of time and saying they were able to go in there and actually do a little bit of tweaking in behind the scenes.
So is there a group that's responsible for all that stuff?
Yeah, they're saying that they did have a group that was responsible for that sort of stuff. And he said there was no name. They were like a science division within their society.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is though, like, is there more of a unit, like a universal science department, so to speak, where the dolphin scientists would have gone to approach them and said, hey, we want to make a few tweaks to the dolphins on Earth?
Yeah, no, they're saying no to me, so...
Okay. All right. Okay. Do they have any other messages that they'd like to convey today for us or anyone on Earth before we let them go?
So he goes, I could go on with lots of stuff, but he says, I'm not going to. So I was like, that's fine.
Okay.
And I know, because I get the impression and the general vibe of what they would say, and my thought of that is it's just, yeah, whatever, normal shit.
Okay.
I just like keep the ocean, healthy and all that sort of thing, but it's not, yeah.
Okay.
However, there was an extension of gratitude towards me, and that for actually making that connection today. And he said it's sort of, I just sort of get the feeling that something like this hasn't happened for a long time for them. So yeah.
Good. So is it okay if we connect with them again at some point?
No, they're saying yes.
Okay, excellent. Oh, well, thank Marvin and the Dolphin Collective Consciousness for us, for the time they've given us today. And so now I'd like you to drift away from that scene, drift away. We're drifting and floating away from that scene. We're closing it off, and we're leaving Marvin and the Dolphin Consciousness to continue on their own journey and on their own path. And I'd like you to move through time and space now. We'd like to connect with your guides, Nick, your spiritual guides for your present lifetime. Moving through time and space to connect with your present spiritual guides. And as you're approaching that scene and you're coming into that scene now, I'd like you to tell me the very first thing that you see or what's happening or what impressions that you get.
That's actually a bit odd. I'm actually almost seeing them as like bloody cartoon sketching.
Mm-hmm.
But I've only got one that's sort of like at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but it's almost like I'm getting the sense they're going to come in one by one.
Okay.
So this is obviously the first one. It's definitely female. I feel definitely feminine energy. It's about names, but I'm also getting a thing on that. They're sort of like they don't really have. They have names, but their names are not important.
Okay.
And they're sort of saying, because they are, they're just saying that we're here to guide, and our names are not important, and they're also saying it's not important for me to be specific with names, because
Okay.
they're saying it's not important. It's just about the information and the flow.
Okay, so this female that's presented
Yep.
herself to you, what message does she have for you or for anyone today? What would she like to communicate with you?
So this one is saying to me that she's been with me since birth. So she's been with me the longest. Okay. And she's just said to me, she goes, I'm the one that spoke to you in that I had an experience back when I was like 20, 21 where I had a big spin out because someone spoke to me and there was nobody there. So she's saying that it was actually her that spoke to me on that day.
Mm-hmm.
She just says to me that she was just basically here to help guide my path, and she's actually saying that like I'm actually I've made congruent choices along the way. So I guess it's just sort of like they had the total understanding that I have free will,
Mm-hmm.
but they're also saying that, or she's saying that I've made. It's almost like giving me a pat on the back for the effort and the stuff that I've made, because it's been challenging.
Yeah.
She's saying too to me, the message that she's got is about really getting in touch with my more feminine energy. And she's saying we understand. She's speaking as a collective, actually. She's saying we understand that you've had much influence through the masculine, and she goes, and we feel sometimes the embarrassment that you may feel within yourself when it comes to feminine things. And I know what she's talking about.
What kind
with
of
that.
things are they?
Oh, just things like, I might see a really beautiful dress, but then, my thought is, well, it's absolutely gorgeous, but it's like, where the hell am I going to wear that? And also I often would, wouldn't buy anything like that or wear it because I know I feel stupid. And, so I feel that she's bringing this up because this is sort of something that I've been thinking about over the last couple of days.
Yep.
And, because I so often see such, really lovely things, but I just don't worry about it because I just sort of think, well, there's no point because it's just going to sit in my cupboard. But it would be a very different story if I lived in the city and I had a city job and, you know, I'd be dressing up like that all the time and things like that. But I just don't see the need for it where I am. And, you know, however, I also recognise that in the very near future, I will move into this and start wearing different things because I'm going to be up in the public eye and that sort of thing. So anyway, that's the message there is about the feminine, and she's sort of like, and it's, you know, and I guess I feel that it's just stupid because I was brought up in a whole male household and I never had female influence or anything like that, and makeup and dresses were just stupid. But, you know, and it's just about building and connecting with that divine feminine energy and just letting myself know that it's okay. If I want to wear makeup, I can wear makeup and it's not stupid. And if I want to buy myself a pretty dress, I can buy myself a pretty dress and wear it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So is that what you're going to do from now on?
Oh, yeah, and I know that, and I think that's why it's been coming up.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm getting to that point where I need to look into it. And, you know, look, the thing is, at the end of the day, I have a creative flair within me, and I love to express, and I've always wanted to, you know, dress awesome, or, you know, and but I have very expensive taste, so, you know, so it's about connecting with that and doing it. So.
Okay. So you're going to embrace your femininity now and do all those things?
Yeah, well, you know, I sort of embrace it to some aspect, but I just a lot better than what I used to be.
Okay.
But it's just taking that next step, I guess.
Yeah.
And but, you know, I also feel too that I think it's important for me to be me, and for me to be me is, you know, sometimes is just a la naturel, you know, type thing as well, because you need to be comfortable in your skin.
Yeah.
But I do know that wearing makeup on pretty clothes doesn't, I'm not doing it because it's expected of me. I'm doing it because I would like to feel good, and but I still feel good whether I wear that or not. Yeah.
So it's just another experience that you'd like to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and I also feel on some level I missed out on all that fun, you know, in my 20s, because So yeah, it's time to embrace it.
Yeah. So you want to start having some fun.
Oh, you know.
Well, you know what I mean.
To a certain limit, I don't want to go out partying
Exploring
or anything.
the fun that you didn't have in your 20s.
Yeah, just having fun of wearing makeup and, you know, wearing something nice, and just be thankful that I've still got legs I can wear something nice.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So does she have any more messages that she'd like to give you?
No, it's almost like I feel like she's going to be stepping aside now. It's like, it's almost like that's what her message was, and it's about that, just to let me know that she's always been here. But it was also about that femininity and connecting, and she's sort of also given me the words of divine goddess and that type of thing as well. So it's to, you know, tune into that. And for me, I just sort of feel that the way to do that is you know, obviously embrace and ground myself, but to start to express in that creative way of makeup and whatever. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if she's stepping out of the way, is there another guide that would like to come through?
Yeah, I've got another one moving forward now. It's interesting. I'm sort of getting. Definitely. Yeah. No. It's when I was first stepping forward, I wasn't sure if it was a male or a female energy. But it's actually definitely a masculine energy now. All right. How do the information's just coming so hard and fast. but I'm sort of forgetting most of it before I even get to say anything.
Okay, well, you can just ask them just to slow it down a little.
Yeah,
to help
well,
you.
it's just that it's just bang, they're just dumping it all in my head. So I was just like, all right. Definitely a masculine energy. I'm actually, the sense I'm not that it's unusual, but I'm getting, I don't even know what sort of lifetime it is, but what I'm associating with this energy is something like Aladdin, you know, Aladdin with that energy or that lifetime or that era. I don't know. I don't know what era it would be, but that's, you know, what I'm sort of getting with this
like
person.
That Arabian sort of.
Yeah, Arabian,
whatever.
Yeah, type thing. But definitely the rope thing around the head, like, stuff is definitely there, very clear. Yeah, all I'm getting, this one's just very simple. This is almost like a bit of a compass. It's just sort of saying when I'm experiencing and making choices, it's almost like this energy is the compass, which will spin to, you know, yeah, I'm not getting a lot of clear information with this. I'm just sort of feeling like there's not a lot of information that this guide does. I think it's more just like energetically of a barometer or something, or a compass or something like that. I don't.
So like he's nudging you towards your true north kind of thing?
Yeah, well, not so much true north, but yeah, but with decisions that I'm making. But I'm also getting the information now too that he's sort of saying that, you know, I'm needing much less nudging or pointing in the right direction, because obviously this one's been with me for quite some time, and there were times in my life where I needed that, but they're just sort of saying to me that it's not really, I'm getting a lot better at making the choices that are in alignment with who I am, and that sort of thing, and also just sort of saying that I'm getting a lot better at, you know, I'm not worrying about, I mean, I still think about consequences, but it's like I'm thinking more from the perspective of the consequences for me, and I'm making decisions, or not just choices, based on what's the best possible outcome for me, and not putting other people ahead of myself, and that type of thing. So, but he's also saying too, it's about, you know, making the right choices and that sort of thing. So.
So would you say that he's happy with where you're at, like you're heading in the right direction?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. All right. Is there any other messages that this guy would like to convey?
No.
No? Okay. So if that guy would like to step aside, are there any others that would like to come through?
They're just saying no. There's more there, but it's like they're saying to me that I have to do my own thing to connect with them.
Okay.
Now, and they're saying the reason for this is because it's up to me to make more regular contact with them. And so obviously they're giving me this information now, but then none of them are moving forward. It's like there's a door that's light, but they're all standing behind it. But I'm receiving the information, and they're saying it's really, really important. They said it's so important for me to follow through and do this. And they're saying so they are not going to come forward today. They're only going to give me the information that I need, because they're saying it's up to me. I need to sit down and make this divine connection with them on my own. And they're saying the main reason for this is because it's about establishing connection, but they're saying you need to go through this because you're going to be using this experience to teach others to do the same. So, yeah.
Okay. So what? How would they suggest you best do that? What was the most effective way?
The thing that they gave me, they're saying it's a conscious. They're not saying meditation. They're saying you need to sit down and make the time to consciously connect with us. And they're just sort of saying that, and they're showing me because I've already got the guided meditation written and done. So they're saying for me to use that, the one that I've already written. So they're saying that I should record it and then listen to it myself.
Yeah.
And make the contact through that way.
Okay.
And they're saying that it'll be a regular thing, and they said that eventually will just get to the point where you'll just sit down and be like a click of your fingers and you'll be bang, straight in there working with us and getting the information. They're also giving me information too that this is actually a crucial point. This is actually like almost next level stuff for when, like, everything that I'm doing now is on track and where I'm meant to be going. But they're sort of saying this connection is critical. This is like next level stuff.
Yeah.
Because they said once I connect with them, they said then you. They're actually saying that there's ascended masters that I'm meant to be working with, and they're saying even though they're acknowledging as I have worked with them before, but they're saying that it's like they're saying I've got to do this step because I've got to do this step because it's not so obviously it's important to me, but they're saying it's an important step with my clients and establishing and teaching them how to do it, and I need to have experienced that.
Yeah.
But they're sort of saying that once I've moved past that connection, that I will then start to connect with ascended masters to bring through a lot more other information, but they're just saying that guide thing's part of the step and part of my process of what I'm giving to people. Yeah.
So should that be a daily practice?
They're saying no. They say it doesn't have to be daily, but they said they at least want it to be at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Yep.
Just to slowly build up, because they're saying to me they also understand that I've got a lot of stuff going on, and they're saying this isn't something that has to be done overnight, but it's something that you need to, I need to start addressing and start making the connection. And then, so.
Yeah, okay. And what's the best way to do that? So when you're actually doing setting that conscious connection with them, would it be best for, you, Nick, to put it in terms or frame it in terms of a question or a statement? What would be more powerful way of establishing that conscious connection?
Yeah, no, they're just saying, I need to do it. They're saying to me it's going to be preferable for me to do it at night time when either everyone's in bed or, that I've got that alone time and time to myself. And they're just saying that to start off as like meditation, just to visualize the connection. And then they're saying that you would have a pen and paper, and I'm going to be asking questions and writing answers.
Okay. Q&A. Okay. Cool. All right.
And they've also said that, there will be times though where I would just write what they're saying.
Yeah.
So like as in channeling type thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And do they have any other messages?
They're actually just saying no, but they just also want to acknowledge my effort and stuff as well.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Can you also ask them? Is there a council or something? Someone that wants to talk with me or us or?
Yeah, they've said they're giving me the impression that yes, that there is. So yeah, but I've gotten a bit of anxiety about it.
Okay.
But that's okay. I will move forward. It's only channeling, and I can do that. So I've done it heaps of times before.
Okay. So is that something that's to come through you, Nick, or like how do we proceed down that lane?
Yeah, it's almost like somebody's already standing by.
Okay.
And I'm sort of actually getting the impression that I can just channel that information through.
Okay.
yeah, I guess we'll just see how we go.
All right, so how about we thank you guides and we'll
Yep.
let them go back to wherever they need to go, and we'll close that scene off. And if there is a council or someone that would like to communicate with us today, if they would like to present themselves or make themselves known to you, just let me know when you feel that connection coming through.
Oh, so I've got the energy in here, and I'm just trying to let go so that I can just let them talk. So.
Okay, so can you just allow yourself to relax a bit more? Just allow yourself to feel comfortable knowing that you're safe where you are. You're always protected.
All right, I'm actually getting the word Meldarian, or something like that is the name of the being that's here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I feel really silly when I talk like them, but anyway, I'll just go. Yeah, because I wish to extend greetings to you. I have a message from the Council and the Council of Light. Oh, okay. So I'm actually getting this being, this galactic member is actually, I'm getting a sense that it actually is you, on a soul essence level. Alrighty. Okay. So I'll just gotta stay out of this.
So just do your best just to allow it to flow through you. Just see if you can let yourself just relax and step aside as the information just flows through you.
I get a lot of information as pictures and stuff in my head, and just I can't put words to things sometimes. So you need to give it to me in a way that I can communicate this.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So I'm getting the greetings again. Thank you. I'm being told that Koreans are saying for your nightly visit, so you are connecting with this galactic realm through the astral travel. The information I'm actually getting is I actually thought initially it wasn't, but it's going this way. So they're asking for you to more consciously connect with a galactic level. They're telling me there's much information and there's much knowledge. I'm seeing symbols and knowledge associated with you, and they're saying these symbols need to be brought down into your physical. They're saying it's about visualization and the drawing of the symbols for you, and they have the word geometric, something like that, geometry, and they're saying these symbols, they're actually going to start bringing and drawing down a certain consciousness onto the planet. So he's saying that this is like a key. These are keys to your own divinity, but they're also saying these keys you will utilize in the future to help attune, I guess, people. Yeah. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So there's geometry or sacred geometry. So there's symbols that are going to be coming through. They're asking that you need to make more of a conscious connection to this because you're connecting to this through your dream state. However, you're not actually remembering the information. Yeah. Yeah. They're saying, yeah, take time out, just close your eyes with pen and paper and just allow your hand to doodle at times, and this is going to help create that flow. And yeah, but they're sort of saying, and they're also saying, you know, you may discard some of these symbols because you think that they're just silly.
Yeah.
But they're saying just to record. So all right, so have a page for each symbol that you receive, and then with that they would like you to then meditate separately on the symbol and tune in and write down any thoughts and feelings and all that sort of stuff that you get associated with that. And this is going to help you because they're sort of saying to me that you're going to connect into this. However, there's like a secret language that goes with all of this. And they're also saying that, you know, you will tap into that knowledge and you'll get it as a download. But they're also saying to start off with, you need to physically look at these things and be feeling what the physical sensation is from the symbol.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to ask a question? Because sometimes that might help me if you ask a question and then I can just see what they're going to say.
I don't really have any questions.
No, that's fine. Okay.
It was more just to find out about, you know, who this council is and
yeah.
what their message
look,
is.
they're saying to me like the Intergalactic Council of Light. That's what I'm being told. They're saying there's lots of different members, but it's mainly made up of Palladians and Syrians. I'm getting Arcturans in here as well. I'm actually sort of getting that even though the galactic members of this council had a much bigger role to play, you know, thousands of years ago. However, today, many of us are incarnated, and and now some of us have made the choice that we will connect with that incarnation to pass on certain information. However, this isn't relevant for all galactic members, council members, only for those that have chosen to. I'm just sort of trying to find out a bit more about your role, like what your role was there.
Well, if this Meldarian, if that is me or another part of
Yeah, well, I'm actually, and look, I'm sorry, but I'm not that fantastic with names, so it's going to be along those lines.
That's okay. We have a general idea.
Yes, okay, so I just asked, is this an incarnation? And they just said yes.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm just trying to get more information about what your role is actually on the council.
Yep.
All right, so they're saying because these symbols is actually part of your role. And the same with the council, everybody has different ideals and but also roles on how to, you know, their plan on how to raise the conscious vibration.
Yep.
All right. So they're the same with the council. Our main objective is that Earth was the place that needs to be led to raise its vibration because it's the densest and the lowest energies of all of the planets within the solar system and with the galaxy that has, and it's going to impact. It's a if Earth doesn't make it through consciousness change, well, then it stuffs up the whole system.
Right.
So it's actually, you know, so it's of utmost importance to the Galactic Council to ensure that planet Earth makes it through this consciousness shift, because if it doesn't make it through, then it is a and the impact of that, or the effect of that, is the other planets don't make it through theirs as well. It's sort of I I don't know, a chain effect maybe.
Yep.
All right, so they're saying here part of your role on this galactic council is these symbols, all right, as you have tapped in, and these are like a sacred geometry, and they mean certain things on like a DNA level and a consciousness level. So this is your way, and it's like, you know what, it's almost like I see these symbols scratched into the earth as massive symbols in places. That's, you know, like almost like have you seen those Incan or Mayan lines and things like that? Yeah, so that's sort of like the impression that I'm getting. I'm actually getting these symbols, but I'm also being shown that these symbols are like being done etherically throughout the planet and through grids and all that type of thing. So but they're sort of saying there's lots of different members that have lots of different jobs and roles, and they're saying yours is with these symbols, but it's not the be-all and the end-all way of raising consciousness, because everybody has their role to play and their little bit that's all going to help with it. He's saying to me that, you know, there was a role, you know, part of the Galactic Council's role was, you know, good, evil, and physical battles. However, you know, we've moved beyond that now. And, you know, and Earth is the focus. And it's also saying to remind you that it's you don't need to, you're just channeling the information from me and asking that you just be open to that. And you don't need to know too much more about the lifetime. He's saying because it's just the importance is the channel of the information to be brought down. I'm also, I don't know if this is going to make any sense to you, I'm just going to say it anyway. He's also saying too that he understands that you have a vision of where you're going, and he's just sort of saying that this may seem like a sidewinder or a side thing, but he's to say that this is actually a part of all of that. So it's not like it's a distraction from your ultimate goal. However, it will appear to be a side thing, if that makes any sense, but it's not. It's still hitting
the symbols. Is
yeah, the symbols and doing the work with the symbols. He's saying because he understands that you had a goal in mind, not necessarily to do with the symbols, but you have a goal in mind. However, this isn't a deterrent. It's sort of saying it's not as. It's all going to still meet up at the same way. This is just
another tool.
It's just another tool that you weren't aware of.
Okay.
That's going to lead to that still your ultimate goal.
Yeah.
I'm actually getting that there is a woman. I don't know if you've got a woman, but there's telling me that there's a woman coming. For you. And she's going to be right into all this stuff as well. So yous are going to be perfect. Like I'm seeing her. I don't know if I'm seeing her as a galactic member. But I'm seeing it's like a team of. They're into the symbols as well. So it's a symbol thing. So they're saying this person's coming in. It's soon. He can't put a time limit on it. But he's saying, you know, once you start the channel, the symbols, that's going to attract the friendship in. He's saying, you know, look, and I don't know, it may already be in the pipeline, but nothing's sort of come up about it. So but I'm getting that there's going to be help there, and there's help as in a female. Alrighty.
So to bring all this about, then my focus now on these symbols and this meditation and channeling these symbols, and then the other things will sort of fall into line. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's the saying. So it's just about making that conscious connection, and then channeling through. And he's saying to me, you know, take your time with the symbols, but asking for you to maybe get yourself like a little notebook or separate notebook for it, so that you can put symbols down And he's saying to me that sometimes symbols may come in halves.
Okay.
All right, so you might only get half the symbol, and then you may get the rest later on. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, and that's all that needs to be done. And he's also saying it's not absolutely necessary for you to do this. However, if you wish to,
it would be helpful.
It would be helpful.
Yeah.
And he's saying it's going to be helpful for you, but he's just saying it's just going to be helpful on a global scale.
Yeah.
But it's also galactic scale as well.